Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 27th. I didn't get a video on Tuesday, but it's just the beginning of week 12. I can't believe that we're this far along in the course. One more week of discussion after this full week and we're done. That's going to be a bit of withdrawal for me because you've been such an interesting group and everything has been so relevant. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. Everything has been so relevant to what is really going on in healthcare in Canada today. First of all, I did get all the papers. They all came in on time. One of them slid in just a minute before the deadline. Can't believe you're working that hard. I'm hoping to have them all graded and back by Tuesday evening. That would be the 2nd. That's my goal. It's difficult. As you can see behind me, I'm not at home in my office. I'm in a cottage. I just got actually reliable internet last night. I had unreliable through which I could read the course, but I wasn't prepared to try a YouTube. The other thing about the YouTubes is that I don't know how to pause and I don't know how to edit. So all of mine are one-shot videos. Maybe by next term I'll figure some of that out. The discussion last week or this week has been, as I said, very good. I think you're really starting to understand some of the depth of the issues around healthcare, and of course, that so much of it is about funding. I made a statement last week that I decided I couldn't back up, and several of you commented on when I said that 50% of Canadians don't pay taxes. So I had to go do some digging myself. And I found that I actually had read that in an American article, which says that 47% of Americans don't pay taxes and the number is going up. But I decided to find out what the real truth was in Canada. And the best statistic I could find is that 33.4% of working Canadians did not pay taxes last year. 33.4% of working Canadians. And a huge percentage of those were within the prime working ages. So I'm thinking if you take that and you add to that all the people who do not pay taxes for other reasons, such as not working or not being required to pay taxes, if you live on a reserve, for example, that percentage is going to be significant as well. But while searching for that, I came across the Canadian Taxpayers Federation website, which I think all of you should take a quick look at. Just Google it, because in there they have Canada's debt clock. You know that thing you always see in the US? It's just tick, tick, ticking money up, 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 up. Well, we have one of those too. And on their front webpage, they say that the $105 billion in debt repayment, let me start that again. That all of the debt repayment between 1997 and 2008 will be wiped out this year. Okay? So that was really scary. I mean, we have to understand that what is going on in the rest of the world and in the United States is affecting us. Not as severely. Our unemployment is not as high. Our housing prices didn't bottom out. We have a lot of good conservative things that we do in this country to protect us. That doesn't mean that we're big C conservatives in our minds necessarily. It means that we're more fiscally responsible, but we also have a debt crisis going on and continuing to build, and we have to be aware of that. We cannot just continue to be only service industries. By that I mean we have to build the industries that give us income. We can't just all work for the government. And that's another problem that we see. As more and more people are in government-funded service industries, there's less and less money that actually goes into the pot to be the money to run the country. Anyways, this week we're going to move on. We're going to look at some of the newer reports coming out. The one this year from the Canadian Medical Association. We can include the one I posted last week, the Joint Nurses and Doctors document, and we can follow what's going on at these meetings. I think they're in British Columbia, and I don't know whether this week, but somebody can tell us about that. And look at some of the alternative suggestions that have been posed to help fund healthcare, to help us be able to provide not only quality care, but to do research and development, right, into new ways of doing things, into new treatments, and to buy the equipment. Somebody commented that there are more MRIs in Minneapolis, St. Paul than in all of Canada. Yes, I don't know whether we need more MRIs or whether they're old technology already, but I can't help but remember all the signs that I saw in the States that said, our MRI has windows so you don't get claustrophobia. And I thought, holy moly, we don't even have an MRI. Oh, I wanted to tell you one other anecdote that will perhaps help you in understanding the resistance that some people have to adding new things to Medicare for funding. In Manitoba, oh, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, nursing groups petitioned Blue Cross to fund foot care for the elderly. It was not covered by Blue Cross, and if the elderly went to a podiatrist, they had to pay out of their pocket, and in fact there weren't many of them around. So Blue Cross did that. They set up funding through people who had Blue Cross could bill Blue Cross for foot care. Well, what happened? Immediately, every RN and LPN who needed employment went to Red River Community College and took a 2-day foot care course and set up practice, to such an extent that Blue Cross was inundated with people billing for foot care. Now, the next time nursing groups went to Blue Cross to try to get something else funded, I think it was diabetic teaching in the home, they said, no way. We were burned last time. We know what happens. And in fact, that is the truth. That as soon as something becomes readily available, everybody wants it. I'm trying to be provocative here, but there is truth behind this rather extreme story that we have to think about. How could we fund home care, let's say, and make it so that it is home care for those who really need it? Again, there are lots of stories out there, and I'm getting to that age where some of my friends are having home care for a spouse who is unable to look after himself. This is one example that I'm close to. And this woman is just unable, I guess would be the word, to deal with the requirements of caring for her husband, who is starting to show signs of Alzheimer. And she keeps asking for more and more and more services in the home, and I'm just really quite amazed at how much we, the taxpayer, are prepared to pay for. So you're going to come back and say, yes, but, I mean, what if he had to be hospitalized? Well, there is a point, and home care, you look into each of your own provinces, has a limit to the amount per year per patient that they are supposed to pay, after which that person is supposed to be put into a nursing home or some other group setting because they are just costing too much. Oh, isn't that sound awful? Wow. Okay, so I hope I've given you a couple of things to think about this week, because last week I think the video started the brains going. I'm looking forward again to this week, and we'll talk to you again next week. Bye.